Hey, hi everyone. I'm going to try to start this somehow. Share my screen. Okay, good. Right. All right, so I want to start on my PowerPoint. I selected for my project, I want to do healing salve for IASTM products, which are instrument-assisted soft tissue massage instruments. So as a doctor of chiropractic, this is something I have in my practice to work on deep tissue. We do it for fibromyalgia, tendons, ligaments, cross-friction massage, attachment points for Sharpie's fibers or periosteum, or complaints where we have either athletes, student athletes, or weekend warriors who have some soft tissue complaints. So we can go in with the tools, and I have a couple here. If I can show you, I went to do this at school today, but I forgot my tools and I thought this was literally due tomorrow. So that is my fault completely. So I am going to, um, maybe go to the next slide. So, all right. So the agenda for the PowerPoint right now, I'm going to do cannabis cultivation. So, how am I going to cultivate these plants? And I have chosen indoor cultivation due to the weather. It is now spring here in Buffalo, but I have a few plants started that are probably 2 months old. So I will start a bunch of them this weekend for my summer project. So I can, hopefully I'll be able to harvest them in the fall, contingent upon how fast they grow. So I'm thinking September or October. Then I want to process them. And since I'm making a salve, I'm going to be using coconut oil and beeswax with some essential oils to get you, I don't know if you can see this, but it'll be a product similar to that, which is what I'm going to use with the instrument. So I will show you the instruments, and this is what my product will actually look like. But it will have a scent to it, and it'll be slightly greener because I'll be using cannabis infused coconut oil. And then for product development and production, I really want to do a salve, and I want to do like a healing salve with a little bit more medicinal products in it to hopefully take away some pain. We could probably use some argin or some other products too, and I'll be obviously play with that a little bit. Just click on here. So the product I intend to use is going to be IASTM. Once again, that is instrument assisted soft tissue manipulation tools to use with the instrument assisted soft tissue manipulation tools. So tools, I just have a couple here to show you. So these are going to be used to go in and with the beveled edge, we can go in very, very pointed if we work on. Yesterday, I worked on some Achilles tendonitis for a patient who was a basketball player and a football player at Duville. Came in to the clinic, chief complained of some foot pain, so I scanned his feet and realized he was pronated, so we're gonna be ordering him some custom orthotics. And we did some soft tissue work on that, so I'll be interested to see how that comes about. I've got some other tools here that I use. Depending on, what part of the body we want to get into. This is for deep back muscles. We can go in and we can break apart some adhesions, or if you've heard of people with fasciitis or myofascial conditions, we can go in and break that apart. It's similar to deep tissue massage, but we can be a little bit more precise and a lot more accurate with the tools. And these tools allow us to really feel what we're getting into. They vibrate at a certain frequency, helps us determine where we are. Right, so I showed you a couple of the tools. They're down here. There's a picture of them. If you want, you can go in, there's a YouTube video, you can go in and kind of see what the whole what is IASTM, which is instrument assisted soft tissue manipulation. We go in with the tools and we go in and we break up the fascia, myofasciitis, or whatever the complaint is. So you have to be a licensed practitioner to do this, and we kind of manipulate the fascia, which is that collagen fibers between the skin. There's the adipose layer. This is the fascia, which really attaches everything. And a lot of times with muscle conditions, the fascia gets adhesed to each other, similar to pasta. If you don't stir it, they really get adhesed. So with these tools, we can go in and we kind of break it apart. We stimulate blood flow and we tear up any kind of adhesions or where things are stuck together, maybe for the trigger points. So generally it takes 4 to 6 visits, but we can get some really good release with that. And once again, I have this Salve that I bought. It's not my favorite. This is probably the best as far as viscosity and thickness. Some of them are a little bit more less viscous, a little bit more lotiony. I wanted to develop my own product infused with cannabis, with some CBD in it to see how it works. I don't know. I have to play with the strength and the strain. I like to work with sativas, but I have no problem working with indicas. It really depends on, I'm new to this, so it really depends on what I find is going to work. So the idea came to me, once again, working with the different tools and the different products, and I just really wasn't happy. Some of them were really waxy, some of them were they'd be so thick that the tool will get bogged down. Some of them were so non-viscous that they would evaporate and they just didn't really stick to the instrument. So I really just didn't like them, and I really want to develop something that has some analgesic properties to really get rid of some of that pain. I really also kind of want to maybe go and use some ultrasound for antiaphoresis, where we can go in and we can really penetrate that solve into the skin, plant it deep under the subcutaneous layer. Something I want to do too. So I just kind of want to talk to everyone a little bit. I'm sure you probably know more than I do, but I've been kind of playing around with this. But this year I decided to take the course. I took one with Bill Nichols, and I took this one. I thought he was teaching it, but he's not. So I have Emily. So doesn't really matter to me as long as I learn the material. So I want to go in and talk about preparing the soil and growth media. So I have a picture coming up. I have a Aspera, which is an indoor grow with a light. You can program it, and it has the water, it has the fertilizer in it. And I will show all of you these little peat pods go into here. They're underneath the water. So automatically make sure that the root has enough moisture, the light comes on automatically. It really saves me a lot of time, a lot of steps. All right, planting the seeds or clones, I'm going to plant right into, you can see, I will go in and there's a hole in there, I can plant it in there. And I generally like to plant at least 2 seeds in there. And then I go through after and determine which are males and obviously pull those out. All right. Irrigating, fertilizing, and managing the pests. I did that as an indoor grow. I don't really have to worry about that as much. Harvesting the plants, we'll see when I look at the trichomes with a jeweler's loop. I do actually have a biomicroscope. I can go in and really take a look at those. I'm fortunate enough to have one of those here, and I have one at ECC I can do. And then drying and curing, I'll show you, I just kind of hang the plants. I used to hang them upside down. Now I have an actual weaved basket that I can hang them in. So that's quite it's a lot easier for me. All right. So this is the Aspara home grower right here. It is all programmed, and I actually let me find it here. Yeah. So I have the app on my phone. It lets me know what's going on, and I can go in and program it or change anything I need to on that. And I used to grow them in peat on my own, but they would tend to dry out or I'd forget to water them. So this really saves me a lot. I don't have to worry about it. And after 2 or 3 weeks, it'll start beeping, and then it's time for me to transplant them. The problem right now I'm having is some of them are doing really well. Some of them just die no matter what I do. So, I find it ironic they call it, quote unquote weed, but it really is not that easy to grow, in my opinion. All right. So just method really eliminates me checking on the water moisture. It's already done. I can set the timer to digitally turn the um, grow light on and off. So it's on while I'm sleeping. I wake up and it's still on. So just due to growing indoors in the Northeast United States, I will probably take a few of these and grow them outside and see what's going on. My concern is that, I've had a few where the deer ate them or there's aphids or some pests. So, I'll deal with that as it comes along. I like to really grow organically, so I won't use any um, pesticides unless they're natural. I tried planting marigolds around them, and I really just don't really like the idea of chemicals, Roundup, glucosamate, any of that just really doesn't sit well with me. I also bought, well, I didn't buy it. It was gifted to me for Christmas. I got a Lomi countertop composter. And like I said, I do everything organically. So this is really, it's on my kitchen counter, and I literally just dump all my food waste in there and turn it on, and in 4 to 8 hours I have it. I have a little sample here. This is I made some turkey soup, so this was just some of the cuttings from the carrots, celery, onions, um, and so on. So I just literally threw it in there, and it churns it all up, dries it out, takes the moisture out. So I have about 6 bags of this, which I'll be adding to my organic soil when I start potting the plants for my harvest. And hopefully, well, this harvest should be done, I'm thinking in July, and my other harvest should be done in September, October. So to be determined, right? So this is harvesting. Um, when the plants are ready, I'll harvest them and let them dry. I used to hang them upside down, but last Christmas I got one of these. Santa bought me this along with these shears for trimming, which are super cool. They're super tiny, very, very sharp. And I find cleaning the plants is probably my least favorite. It should be the most exciting because I'm growing them, and hopefully they won't go to seed, and I can go and trim all the buds up and the leaves, and um I make my canna butter, which I used to do, but now we're making the emollient with that, or part of it. But I really have to be mentally, like I said, I have to be mentally prepared for that, because I literally lay it all out on a blue tarp, and it literally takes me 3 or 4 hours to painstakingly go in and cut it all apart. But this year I'll take all of the whatever I don't use, the stems and everything, and I'll put them in the composter and, excuse me, see what I come up with. I grew up on an organic farm, so that's part of my brain culture. So I grew up on an organic farm in the late 70s, early 80s. So that's really where my mindset is. Let's see. So, my processing procedure that I have found that works is I like to take the cannabis, and I remember a couple of years back I forgot to decarboxylate it in the oven, and the product just did not turn out well. So what I do now is I lay it out on parchment paper on a cookie sheet for about 45 minutes to an hour at 145. And I've learned now that I have a little spray bottle. I spray it with Everclear, which is probably the strongest drinkable alcohol. I have access to 99% ethanol, but I don't know if I really want to be spraying that on my plants. So I just decided to go to the cupboard and grab some Everclear, which I think is 150 or 180 proof. So it's pretty brutal. Spray that, break it down, bake it, um, bake it all up, and then I throw it into a double boiler with this product I'm doing with coconut oil. And I think I'm going to use some frankincense and myrrh to give it a little bit of a scent to it, and a little bit of beeswax to give it a little bit of consistency. All right. So I usually put in a double boil for about 3 hours, just stirring it occasionally, and then I have to strain it out. I just really use two wire colanders. I don't go through the cheesecloth stuff. And then when I'm all done, I run that through a reusable coffee filter. They're usually copper. I run it through there, get out all of or the majority of the plant material. And I really don't care if it's green. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm not that concerned about it. But this seems to be the easiest for me, and I'm not doing big scale, so this should be fine for what I need. Right, so for the salve production, I'm going to use 1 cup of cannabis infused coconut oil, and I find like an ounce to a pound of coconut oil should be enough, but I really don't think I'm going to use more than a half a pound of coconut oil. So I have to scale that out and figure out what I want to do. You know, I won't be eating this, so I don't know how strong it has to be. I have to research that. But I really think that if I put it on the skin subcutaneously, it should go through. And then I kind of want to see if it works on eczema and psoriasis and just kind of play around with that. And I have little tiny containers, so I'll see about some of my patients, you know, if they're into it, I will probably give them little containers of it and see, you know, their feedback on it. So do a little marketing and I'll get some analysis from them. But I really want to use frankincense and myrrh. It's one of my favorites. So 15 to 20 drops. I have 20 or 30 different essential oils. So lemon, lemongrass, spearmint, mint, lavender, all kinds of things. So I could theoretically do it with that. I like to make my own candles too, so and plenty of options, or if somebody wants me to custom make it, I can do that too. So this is Salve production, salve, whatever, for the instruments, which is what I really want to do. But I also want to do aches and pains salve and just see if I can play around with that as far as any kind of cutaneous skin elements, whether it's like I said, eczema or psoriasis, things like that. You know, I can experiment with bee stings or insect bites. You know, I'm a little concerned about tick bites, Lyme disease, and rickettsia, Rocky Mountain spot and fever, things like that. So I'll be playing around with it this summer and years to come. So with that, I want to use the infused coconut oil, beeswax, the essential oil, dried metal sheet, and dried calendula. These are supposed to have analgesic properties to it. So I'm not sure if I want to do that concentrated oil, or if I can do a tincture with alcohol and add that to the mix. I'm not really sure how the alcohol and oil will work, but I'll play around with that. All right. So in summary, I just really hope the product will meet my needs. But like I said, since this is my initial product launch, I expect to need to make minor or major adjustments. So I really have no idea what's going to happen with it biochemically. I'm pretty fluent in microbiology, anatomy, physiology, but biochem, and this is a little bit out of my field. I do know a bunch of organic chemists that I can probably talk to, and I've met a few people, the Buffalo area, who are pretty savvy with cannabis. So I really hope to, you know, use them as resources and go in and see, what I can find out. So I just also, I'm a little bit concerned about the product going rancid if it sits on the shelves, but I don't think I'm gonna worry about that until I start making a whole bunch more of this. Um, and hopefully, if I have a successful line or whatever, there's a few people in the Buffalo area that I can market this through. I'm really not in it to make any money. I'm just really in it to find a niche market where it is useful. And if it's really just my patients, that's fine too. I just really want to experiment with it, and I really want to make sure it's 100% organic. So I'm going to stop the video, and hopefully I will upload this to my YouTube channel, and then I can embed the video and send it in. All right, any questions for me? My email is c7t12l5s1 @gmail.com, or you can reach me at jonesp@ecc.edu or jonesp@dyc.edu. If that's easier, those emails are a little bit easier for people to remember. All right.